Groove City.
Yo, what's up? I'm Lefty.
You know, it's your boy Rich Furniss, and welcome to another episode of Groove City.
That's right. Today we are very excited to bring you one of Chicago's finest here in New York visiting. We got Apollo, the man. He is also a jiu-jitsu master. Tell us about it. There's a whole lot going on.
Dude, please don't call me a jiu-jitsu master. You're going to get like 10,000 fucking black belts. And
All right.
it's going to turn into a jiu-jitsu podcast real quick. They're going to be like, he's not a jiu-jitsu master. He's only a blue belt.
All right. I don't know. I saw you just got the blue belt. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for before we jump into the music?
So I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 2 years. For the past year, though, it's been pretty on and off because I've been traveling a lot and like doing a lot of work. I also recently fractured my hand doing it, so I can't really train as hard.
Damn. Were you breaking some boards with that hand?
No.
Just a little sparring action?
Yeah, some sparring action. We call it rolling in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And me and my partner were just practicing some throws, and he just executed one perfectly and everything lined up for a little freak fracture, you know?
Damn, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, first time fracture, not a break, so we're back in action in like 2 weeks probably.
More importantly, you can still DJ though.
Oh yeah, dude. You know what's crazy is like it's so funny. I'll be like trying to do like the tech wrist with this hand, but it's like literally just like me just like turning my hand or like sometimes.
Now it's almost perfect form though, because I feel like people are usually pretty stiff with it. You know,
You just gotta hold it up. You could just do that too the whole time. You don't even have to move it.
Yeah, or like sometimes I'll be like adjusting the tempo on a CDJ, and like when I have to adjust the tempo with this on, I like have to rotate my hand just a little bit. But if I don't, then I'll just like accidentally stop the CDJ because of my finger. It's just
hitting
so much bigger.
Stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
I bet.
It's not as bad as it seems, though.
Nice. Well, welcome to New York. You're in town. How long are you in town for?
I'm in town until Saturday. Out here to make some music with the homies and do a gig at Marquee.
Nice. Yeah, you two go way back and have some releases out together, right?
Yeah.
Recently, you guys had a release out?
The first ever Rich Furniss track was with Apollo. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. I remember that.
Was.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys just put out another one, the one with Ron Carroll?
Ron Carroll, yeah, that was a great. I mean, there's certain people that you walk in the studio and you vibe with, and it just like magic happens. And Apollo has that energy. And from what I hear with a lot of other producers as well, you know, you have a comfortable space that we work in, honestly. And I think both of us have a similar dynamic about how we approach tracks. That last time I was in Chicago, picked me up from the flight, no sleep, chugged a coffee, and we made 2 tracks in one day.
I remember that. Yeah, he's had nothing but nice things to say about you. Did you guys meet in Chicago when you lived there?
No.
Is that how you guys knew each other?
No, we actually met. I lived in LA at the time. I lived in Venice. I had moved out to LA in 2018, I think.
Oh, nice.
And moved out there for a few months. I was supposed to go to school out there, and then I was also supposed to move to like China at the time for a residency. And he came out and played during, I think it was during NAMM. Or
Yeah, it was.
like
It was
that.
during NAMM, yeah.
And you were playing at, where was that spot you were playing at? I can't remember, but I think Kyle plugged me with you, right? Yeah. And from there, I met him there, and then we just kept in touch. And then we have, you know, a bunch of mutual friends, and I ended up sleeping on his couch the first time, like it was the second time I ever came to New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I saw on your socials that you've been playing some monster clubs in Chicago, and you're here this weekend, maybe playing Marquee, you were saying?
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of the big room stuff, man. That's exciting.
Yeah. I think I'm in a really unique position to be able to go make tracks with homies and then, you know, go demo them out that weekend or that night in some of the biggest clubs. So it gives me a good feel to not only how to produce a track, but what's going to work while we're making it. And also, you know, maybe we make something and it doesn't work. Yeah. You know?
I think that's a big thing though with when you talk about DJ producer versus producer DJ is you get the chance to try those records out so quickly, and you really do understand more of the flow of what works for the room. That I think you take a different approach to how you do your production. You know, you cater it to like the rooms that you're playing and to like what you know will work within those places. And I think it's cool that you have some, you know, residencies in some places that you play where you're able to play some of those bigger records that a lot of other DJs might make but not have the opportunity to actually try them out.
Yeah, facts. I'm very fortunate about that. You know, I do a vlog, and I talk about that a few times in my vlogs when I was doing like the 30 days, 30 remixes.
Yeah, I was
like,
on.
Oh, yeah. Ricky did tell me about that.
Yep. I had really unique opportunities because that was summertime Chicago. Chicago, you know, and there were gigs almost every other day, and I was making a record every day, so I was like able to test those records out on the weekend. It was funny because one of the light guys from the club I play at mainly, I'd come in on Saturdays. He'd be like, "Yo, let's hear the new stuff that you did this week."
They knew, they expected it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
What do you think? So, you know, a lot of people talk about these types of challenges. I think producers do a lot of different challenges. What do you think you learned the most from doing the 30 for 30, you know, challenge, making that much volume of tracks? And did you like create workflows? Did you create templates? Did you figure out new ways of like approaching tracks to be able to like pump out that much content?
Yeah, so I think one of the major things that I learned was how to force creativity, like how to force yourself to get a track done.
It's a hard thing.
Yeah, how to just like power through that, you know, like and sometimes you'll get writer's block in the middle of a track, you know, but I have 100, 200 people watching me on the live stream, so like I can't just sit there, you know.
Oh, you live stream your sessions?
Yeah, oh yeah, I live streamed it every day. So it started when I first started doing it. I think like the first week they were averaging like 8 hours, and then like you do something for a week and you set up a workflow, right? And that's the other thing I learned is like a workflow, how to just work faster.
Yeah.
And then I would make the ideas in my head beforehand too sometimes, where I was like, okay, well, I know I'm remixing Be My Lover, and here's how I want it to sound. So I'd go into the studio with roughly like an idea and an approach.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, you did like bootlegs.
Yeah.
Mostly, or?
No. They were full-on remixes.
Or
like
remixes.
Complete remixes, yeah, with the acapellas.
That's what I'm saying. But at least you got a good starting point there, because then it's like you have an acapella, and it's like, okay, like you already have a key to work in.
Yep.
You have like a rhythm, and then you can just like build some drums, see what bass line works, and then maybe you can even add some chords.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I mean, I figured out how to force myself to get things done pretty much, and that was the whole thing was like an exercise. I think a lot of people saw what I was doing and they're like, "Oh, he like wants to, make the most fire remixes every day and like do 30 of them." And that wasn't really what it was about. Like if I could have made like 30 remixes that would have gotten Grammy noms, I would have done that, right?
Yeah.
But like it's
more of an exercise.
Yeah, it's more of an exercise of creativity, how to jumpstart it, and like how to kind of just power through and form good habits and like being able to work, you know what I'm saying? Because during that time I had North Coast Music Festival, I had the Swedish House Mafia gig come up, like I had a bunch of other shit.
Oh,
so,
nice. Where'd you play? Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Where'd you play the Swedish House Mafia?
At Tau Chicago. So
nice.
They booked them and they called me and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna put you on direct support." And I was like, "That's fucking sick."
That's amazing. Yeah. How was that? Sick. Crazy, I bet.
Man, yeah, it was super cool. So I was direct support, and then at the last minute they were like, "Yo, Swedish House Mafia is bringing, I think it's Monkey, who was on tour with them or whatever." She was cool. And so she went on right before them. And then at the last minute, the talent buyers were like, "Yo, she needs to leave to catch a flight to London, so you're gonna have to hop back on." And so I hopped back on, and literally I was probably like 2 tracks in, and fucking Steve Angelo like came up behind me and like he like gave me a hug and shit, and like was like, "What's up, bro?" And I was like,
he's like, "What's up? Get the fuck out of here." We're out.
Yeah. No, man, they were super nice. They were like, "Yeah, you can chill in the booth if you want." So I'm just like up there with them.
I'm sure they're super nice, man.
And
That's
then
cool.
afterwards they signed. I had like printed out. Such a lame.
Dude,
I would have done the same.
Yeah, dude, same here.
I had a flyer with their name and obviously my name on it, and I printed it out, and
amazing.
they signed it, and it's like hung up in my studio and framed and stuff.
That's
and,
fire.
That's super sick.
It was pretty cool because I feel like everybody hears like Swedish House Mafia, but like you don't realize until you do a gig like that like I'm probably one of like a handful of like a few hundred DJs that are ever gonna play with them.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is interesting with the remix challenge, and it kind of brings in other aspects of your life, is one, the live stream element and having people watch you, almost like DJing kind of forces you to like step up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you talked about it like an exercise. And you doing jujitsu and stuff, like you're used to like that regimen of like, all right, I got to put these hours in to be able to do that. Do you think that that taking that approach from the other parts of your life kind of helps you to be able to like get these other things done?
Yeah, 100%. Everything is reps if you want to get better at it. Like that's why Formula One drivers practice. That's why fighters spar. Like everything's reps. If you want to get good at something or you want to improve, like you're not just like you can watch a million YouTube videos, but if you don't put that into practice, then it's just useless knowledge.
Yeah,
and you're gonna forget it.
XP, man. Takes a lot of XP.
Exactly. A lot of XP.
That's the only way to put it.
A lot of XP.
That's
Hit
funny.
me with those gamer terms. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying that.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
funny.
Gotta crank up that
Get my
XP.
up, bro.
I was talking to my manager about that earlier because she's like, "How long does it take you to do a remix?" I'm like, "Really, it doesn't take me that long. I can knock it out in like a day and a half or something with the full mix and master." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "She's like, well, what? You just like knock it out really quick?" I was like, "I've just been doing it so long. I got that XP, girl."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah,
Cranks it
that's what it was too. And you know what's crazy is that I was talking to my boy, like one of my very close friends, actually the first roommate I ever lived with in Chicago, and I was telling him about the idea of the remix challenge, and I was like, I think I'm gonna back it up until after North Coast though, because I had like so much stuff going on. And I was playing main stage, and so I was like, man, I want to be really good and like put a set together. And this and the other. He was like, nah, bro, don't do that. He was like, you already announced it and told people it was gonna start on like it was like 2 weeks before North Coast. He was like, you already announced that, and B, like, what happens when you're like on the road touring?
I was gonna say that facts.
Like, and you have shows going on and you're traveling. Like, you need to learn how to.
It's the conditioning. Throw yourself in the pool, man.
Yeah. And so I'm glad that he did that because it was like every day, no matter what I had going on, like I had to go to the studio. The only day that I missed was the day of North Coast.
Well, I think that's a fair one.
Yeah. And that was just a crazy day. Like I had to be there early, like, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, so I played main stage and then I also played the silent disco. And I didn't get out of the silent disco, I think, until like 5 or 6. And then the festival is like hour away from the city, so by the time I got back to my house, got changed, I had to open for Diplo that night at 10. So like it was just like by the end of the night I was just cashed. But yeah, that was the only day that I missed for it. So
some rock star shit.
That's awesome though, man. That's a cool project that you put together. Do you still live stream your sessions?
Not really. I want to get back into it, but like live streaming is a whole thing in itself, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Facts.
It kind of becomes like distracting too because you kind of have to like interact with the chat a little bit and then like
he called me up, but like he was working on our track in the middle of the live stream. He's like, "Oh, yo, hang on, I'm still here. I'm just talking to Rich about this track though, real fast."
Oh yeah, that was together. I literally called him, and because I did it on stream. I was like working on the original version of Together. It was more of like a disco house track when I sent it to him, and I think it was at like 120, 122 maybe.
It's 122,
yeah. And I was like working on it on the stream, and I was like, I don't like this. I wouldn't play this.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like I think like that about all my music. Like, would I play this if, this was mine? And it was our track, so I just deleted the whole session, and I had to call him to make sure it was okay with him. And I like deleted the whole thing. I think I kept his guitars and
and the violin.
Yeah, the violin, and other than that, I just remade everything right there on the stream. So
nice. I had that conversation not too long ago, and my collaborator was not so pumped on it. But I was like, I don't think I would really play this. Would you? He's like, no,
Rick, baby. That's
he's like, he would not. I was like, I don't think I would play it either. I'm like, then what are we gonna do with this?
Yeah.
Let's take it back in time a little bit because we kind of kick off usually, with the timeline more so. But let's go back to where you're originally from, if you're originally not from Chicago, and what kind of got you into dance music and DJing.
Did you picture yourself being here right now?
Yeah.
When you started,
What makes you tick? Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm originally from Michigan. I was born in Detroit. Detroit was pretty heavy on their radio DJs. And I hadn't been introduced to dance music, but when I was young, every artist when they're younger has a grandma or a parent that like listens to music, And,
I think I see a grandma or a parent that listens to dance music. I was like, yeah, my grandma was rocking salsa and merengue back in the day.
No, dude. But yeah, my grandma, super into oldies, like Temptations, stuff like that. So I'm very familiar with like, the golden era of that. And I was just always into music. Wanted to be a DJ since I was a kid, along with like an astronaut and a bunch of other stuff.
Who were some inspiration or idols, I guess, that you admired that were DJs?
Man, I don't even know. So like DJ Mo Beats, he's actually Big Sean's DJ now.
Okay.
Still too. He was a pretty big inspiration for me when I like started actually DJing. Just on the when I was like a young kid, I wasn't so much as paying attention to who the actual DJs were, opposed to what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
But the thing that kicked it off for me to be like, oh yeah, like being a DJ would be super cool is You know who DJ Scribble?
Yeah.
He had a toy at one point. I don't know if you remember that, the little bobblehead
Action
toy.
figure.
Yeah. So I got that for Christmas when I was like 9. And if you've never seen it, it's a little bobblehead and it plugs into a car and you can plug that into a CD player.
Yeah.
And you would play the song off the CD player and the car was a speaker. The bobblehead, you plugged it in and you could
Dance to
twist
the
the
music.
bobble's head and it would like make scratch sounds or DJ sounds.
That's fire.
Oh,
Okay.
sick.
Super nerdy.
Yeah, whatever.
I
but
would have
that's-
nerded
that's
out
what-
on that.
That's what kind of kicked it off. I started playing the drums in elementary, middle school,
Nice.
and then from there just kind of super got into music. And then when I was a freshman in high school, I met this kid who had
Dex.
a copy of Reason.
Oh, Reason.
No, Reason, yeah.
Oof,
So-
taking it back to Reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's
that
what
was
I
my
started-
second dog, baby.
The
That's what I started
rewire.
on.
Yeah.
Did you rewire that?
Oh, yeah, I
used to
did
rewire
eventually.
into Logic.
I rewired it into Pro Tools because I was
yeah.
using it up until college. And in college, we got a free version
Yeah.
of Pro Tools with our thing, so I would bring it into Pro Tools.
Those drums slap pretty hard in Reason back in the
Yeah,
day. And those
yeah.
synths were pretty nasty too.
So I learned Reason and then moved to FL Studio because at this time I still wasn't making dance music, wasn't into it.
Mhm.
I was
What kind of stuff are you making?
Making hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
because
That's where I started too.
Yeah,
Facts.
yep. I started as a hip hop DJ, hip hop producer. My beats weren't like amazing, right? Because like I didn't.
Because you were using Reason.
Well,
No, I'm kidding.
and that's why I moved to FL Studio.
Yeah, got you.
So around this time is when like people like Lex Luger and Southside and like Waka Flocka were like all popping off. They were starting to do vlogs, and I saw them working on Reason, and I was like, my beats have to slap like that, so I'm gonna, or they were using FL Studio.
When was that? Like late 2010, 2000s? Like
Yeah, like
8, 9?
yeah. So
I feel like that was the Waka Flocka
2010,
peak.
11,
Yeah.
So yeah, 2010 to 2012 is when I was
That
in high
makes
school.
sense.
So. And then after that, just got into college, and I was like, I hate this. I was a psychology and business major, and just wasn't into it. Music was still my thing, and I was like, I want to be a DJ, and I told my mom, and she let me drop out of college.
Wow. She said, go live that dream.
Yeah,
That's
she's-
amazing.
Yeah, my mom's super supportive in that way. She's like,
key.
"Yo, whatever you want to be.
My
just gotta be the
parents,
best."
my parents are still. I'm like, oh, I played this sweet gig last night. They're like, did you make any money?
yeah. Oh, there's no.
How much
lack
did you make?
Of that.
I'm just like,
There's no lack of that. I think parents
my
until
soul.
yeah.
yeah, right. I think up until like you make like a substantial amount of money, like your parents are always gonna be like, this is still a side hustle.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, a hobby. But yeah, after that,
And you were back in Chicago already by then?
no, I wasn't. I was still in Michigan. I was in Kalamazoo at the time.
Kalamazoo,
which is like 2
nice.
hours from.
Yeah.
Great party city.
Yeah, and so I
It's a
had
big college
friend-
town, right?
Yeah, big college. town.
Yeah, Western Michigan. So actually, I had a friend whose mom was the assistant athletic director at Western Michigan. They hired a new football coach, and he was like super young, and so he was looking for a game day DJ, and they gave me the job.
Fire.
Nice.
Yeah, and so from then I started playing like the
That's
little
probably a lot of
bars.
fun. Those kids party hardy down there.
Yeah. So that's when I started like peeking into like dance music, and well, it was like top 40 pop, right? Like
Yeah.
Pitbull
But it was all
and
very
shit like
dancey
Yeah.
at that time too. So
It was
Yeah,
super dancey. at that
2013,
time.
2014,
Yeah,
that era. Yeah.
Timber, Kesha, Pitbull,
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
All those songs are coming back now. It's full
Enrique
cycle right now.
Iglesias
The
was
10-year
popping
cycle,
off.
man.
yeah.
Yeah, right?
Mhm.
That's true. The nostalgia's back already on all that
Yeah.
stuff.
What do you think your trajectory was, doing music? Like when you dropped out and you're like, yo, I want to do music. Were you like, I want to be a producer DJ? Do I want to be a touring DJ? Or was it just like, no, I just want to do music and see where it goes?
Yeah. So at the time I was like heavy on YouTube because Kalamazoo is like a small town and it's not anywhere like Chicago where there's like DJs that are just like DJing for real for a living.
Yeah.
So I was watching like DJ Vice's videos, like These Are the Breaks. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
ever
of
seen
course,
that, where
yeah.
he like does Tao Beach Pool Party. And
Yeah.
then he goes and does Tao, and then he's like,
Nice.
I'm gonna fly to my studio in LA.
Yeah.
And then make this. And like, so I was like, dude, I gotta do that. Like that's
Yeah.
gotta.
That looks
be
like
me.
the life, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was like. Oh, I gotta do that. Like I was making like mashups and stuff, and
Yeah.
I knew that I like needed to produce, and I was like still wanting to be like a hip hop producer, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a DJ too, like and be able to play my own music.
Facts.
So it wasn't until probably like 2018 I was like, I need to do like I need to produce like way more.
Yeah.
Where I made the switch from DJ producer to producer DJ.
And that's when you started putting out original music.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How far along into your original music career was your collab with Rich Furniss here?
Well, we dropped ours 2020.
2020, yeah.
2020. So yeah, I think like 2 years.
Couple years, nice.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, that was super interesting for me because I hadn't done a track like that before. That was more like Jack and house. And it's weird because I'm from the city of house music.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had some good mentors on that. We had Bad Boy Bill is a good friend of mine, collaborator, and so like we would send it to him, and he'd be like, "Yo,
give us notes,
some tips, and some notes." And I think he actually mixed it too, right?
He did. He mixed and mastered it. Yeah.
Always good to have a reference.
I like
from somebody
in college. That was like a DJ that I looked up to heavily. So to like have him be part of that process, because he used to play all the cool spots in Chicago when I was coming up, doing like warehouse parties and like bopper parties and stuff. And to have him be involved with that kind of took a full circle. It's kind of funny too, because then our collab that just came out together is Ron Carroll, who's like another Chicago legend that I've always looked up to. That I thought was, if you had told me back then that I would have a track with Ron Carroll on it, like I'd be like, nah, like there's no way. You know,
man.
That's it. Mike Dunn is next.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I've been super fortunate to have the support of the OGs and just people that are in spots that I want to get to eventually.
I think I know what it is, but why do you think you get the support of those people? I'll tell you what I think after.
And I'll tell you what I think after, because I got an opinion too about that.
Cool.
Man, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I think for me is you undoubtedly love the music, and like there's so many people who are in our industry who don't necessarily do it for the music, that I think to see somebody who's young, who loves the music, who's doing cool shit, like people want to support that because they want to bring up the culture. You know what I mean? I think you're a good representation of the culture. You don't do it for anything but the fact that you love what you do, you know?
No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. And I was basically gonna, just add on to that like, I think if you're actually doing shit, in town, and people like see that you're actually like contributing and like it's coming from a good place, that they'll just give you the respect,
Yeah.
And the recognition.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So you're crushing it in the Chicago club scene. You know what I mean? You're doing some cool flyouts. You're coming out here for, a big show at Marquee, a big venue out here. Where do you see yourself going in the next year to 2 years? Like, what do you want to increase the releases? Do you want to start playing more out of town gigs? Like, kind of what's the trajectory?
Man, well, I think if I increase my releases, I'll be releasing something every week. I already try to do a remix like every week or two. And then
you're already conditioned for it.
Yeah, I have an original that comes out every 4 to 5 weeks. So I think I'm on a good release schedule right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Within the next year, I'm really hoping to get more bookings on like actual shows and stuff like that. And kind of be recognized as like an actual house producer and DJ. Because I feel like I don't get that recognition, especially because like I feel like I don't get it in my city, at least, because
you'll never get it in your city, no matter where you live.
Yeah, I just
it's not till you leave that they want to love you.
Yeah, I really want it in my city just because it is the home of house music, and I feel like I don't get it there because, even though I play all dance music and like I do play house music, I don't play one genre of house. Like I don't just play minimal tech.
That's one of the reasons I fucking love you though, because I'm the same way.
I refuse to do that.
Well, I think that's a very US thing, because if you go to Europe, me and Lefty have talked about it before, is like people expect, oh, we're gonna go to see this micro genre of music. And I think for us, we're such a more multicultural, more inspired by different types of people and all that we don't want to listen to one genre. And like when I play a house set, like I'm cool to be within certain bounds, right? You know what I mean? But I want to show what inspires me throughout my whole set and take them on the journey, which I think is what makes it special and what makes you a good DJ.
I agree with that 100%. And it's really weird that people even look at people like that and be like, oh, well, like you have to play, tech house if you want to do this, or you have to play minimal techno. And it's like, dude, like, do you think I'm going to come in here? Like, if you booked me, right, to play minimal techno, first of all, I would never take that gig because I just don't really listen to a lot of minimal techno. So like I wouldn't even know what's good, right? But like I feel like sometimes the clubs do see that I play at spots that are technically open format clubs because they do open format nights, right?
Yeah.
But I don't play on the open format nights. I play on the house and dance nights. And people are like, oh, like he might come in here and play a DaBaby record. Like, and I'm like, dude, like, do you think I'm gonna do that? Because like I'm not.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm
facts.
saying? Like I have a very deep knowledge of DJing and how to, you know, control a crowd and how to play music. Like I've done it for a long time.
I think that's a tough thing though. Like myself and a lot of other DJs I know started as open format DJs, so people know that you can do that. And I think sometimes they put you in boxes because of that.
Yeah.
But I think on the hometown side of it, like because you're so accessible, people don't see you as an artist, right? They see you as like that DJ who plays at Tao or who plays at whatever, you know, Pony Boy. You know, it's like they don't have that same respect until, oh no, this dude is out doing this in New York. He's doing it in Dallas. He's doing it in Chicago, Miami, whatever. You know what I mean? Like when they see that, then you become an artist in their eyes because he's not just doing this in the hometown. I think a lot of DJs get stuck in that like hometown, you know, hometown hero phase of their careers.
Yeah. See, and it's so funny because people have always asked me like what my fear is, and I always tell them that my fear is to be like 30 years old playing for $300 at El Jefe, which is a club we have in Chicago. And that's no disrespect to El Jefe. Like if you're watching this, you work there, you know, you're an owner, whatever.
It's all love.
Like it's
but
all
there's
love,
a different
but,
trajectory
like, I just
for
don't wanna,
everybody.
yeah,
man.
I just don't want to have that like hometown bar star DJ, you know, brand. Like
I think for certain people it works, and for other people it doesn't. Like I know a lot of people in New York who, you know, they have their residencies, they play it because it's like comfortable, their friends come, whatever, it's cool for them. But in the same sense, like we talked about it last time I was in Chicago, like that's one of my biggest fears is like, I don't want to see a ceiling. You know what I mean? I think ceilings scare me. And it's like to be stuck at a certain phase in your life is a scary thing for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I think what I've actually been thinking about this a lot, and I think this ties into it is like I think one of the things that is unfair when you're coming up in music is that you're expected to do like one thing, right, and only fit into one lane and fit into one box. And then you look at somebody like Skrillex, right, which I know it's kind of a weird comparison, but like that dude does everything, and like now he does house music. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like, if he can do this, why can't I? Like,
but for a lot of those artists, they've had to break into one thing first, and then they're able
it's just
to.
So weird,
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like what puts you on the map first is how you're gonna be known. So like playing certain types of clubs or playing a specific type of music and building an audience off of that is how everybody's gonna associate you. So like, it's hard to break out of that box until you become so big to Skrillex level. You could be like, yo, check this out. I'm going to drop a reggaeton album. And everybody's going to be like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You got to like kind of earn that, I guess, to a certain degree. But, you know, you wish the whole time that you could do it along the way the whole time. But people just have that narrow association.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to hop into your DJ mix here. Where can people find you on socials if they want to follow you?
Everything is at I'm with Apollo.
Boom.
Cool.
I want to take a second to thank Sound Collective for having us here. We're at their great facility at 28 Broadway. You see this amazing facility. We have a couple different products that you guys can grab. We have membership where you guys can use all of the equipment behind us, unlimited. Think of it like a gym membership where you can go and get all your music production done. We have online courses for subscription and for certificate where you can learn at your own pace, earn a certificate within a certain focus. We have private lessons, all of it. It's a great space for creatives to collaborate with each other and just to learn more. We appreciate having you on, Apollo. Excited to check out that DJ set. Make sure you guys check that out. It'll be a link down below. I'm Rich Furniss.
I'm Lefty. Thank you for watching.